हेलो गाइस। अभी ही सो के उठा था, टाइटल देख के डर डर गया। कोई बात नहीं यार, थोड़ा डर भी जाओ, थोड़ी अर्जेंसी भी होनी चाहिए लाइफ को लेकर यार। बिकॉज एवरी मोमेंट दैट passes we are getting closer to our death, और rather we are getting closer to inaction, या हमें आदत होती जा रही है कि हम इनकॉम्पिटेंस झेले अपनी, कि हमें आदत लग जाए कि वही ओवर थिंकिंग, वही डर का माहौल, कि हम कोई चीज को करने से पहले सोचे डर जाए इतने। सो इट्स नॉट, देयर इज नथिंग रॉन्ग। मे बी समटाइम्स ऑल ऑफ अस नीड सम सॉर्ट ऑफ अ रियलिटी check. We need someone to remind us that yeah, every moment that's passing, you are still not completing your mission, you are not deciding your purpose, and you are being held back. So maybe there is nothing wrong with being scared or reminded once in a while. It is important to remind yourself every once in a, in fact it is important to remind yourself this every day, that we are getting closer to our final breath. And as you do that, most of us are not taking action. We are not trying to learn, we are not trying to improve ourselves, we are not trying to change any of our current situation, whatever our problems are. And every day that you spend where you're not doing anything significant to change your problems, if you're not even hitting 0.1% of what you were doing, and you're not trying to change what you are currently, then that day has inevitably failed. You have failed. But yeah, the first part is awareness. The first part is knowing that yeah, you are in trouble, you are suffering, you have problems that need to be taken care of. We are in a war, we are in a war zone, we are in a battle, and most of us are freaking asleep. Hello, Unstoppable Fitness. Hi, user KV7. Hi, unknown. ब्रो, हैविंग गुड और बैड फ्रीक्वेंसी या एनर्जी कैसे काम करता है, माइंडसेट और वर्किंग? I don't know what you're talking about, Unstoppable Fitness. Good or bad frequency. There is, I don't believe in such a thing as good or bad frequency या energy, जो भी आपने बोला है. The only thing I believe in is awareness of the problems that you have in your life, working towards those things that you have in your life, one by one. I would avoid using these spiritual terms unless and until I actually know anything about that. Good, bad frequency, manifestation. The problem is that most people about these things are ignorant. हमें इतनी आइडिया ही नहीं है. हम बेकार में स्पिरिचुअलिटी में पढ़ते हैं, ऐसे लोग जिनको आइडिया नहीं है. अगर आपको स्पिरिचुअलिटी में जाना है तो उसको जाने के लिए आपकी लाइफ में प्रॉब्लम्स होनी चाहिए पहले तो, एंड आपको रियलाइजेशन होनी चाहिए कि आपके लाइफ में इतनी प्रॉब्लम्स है, एंड देन यू नीड टू गेट ऑन दिस जर्नी. But I still believe that there are only two things: action being the most important, and self knowledge. Both of these need to work in order for you to get to wherever you want to get to, which is, I believe, for all of us it's freedom. Most of us it's freedom. I think for all of us it's freedom. For me it is, like, really it's freedom. It's working for my purpose and it's freedom. Like, the end goal for me is freedom. And I think the only way that I can feel free is only if I constantly work towards my purpose, if I'm actually doing what I'm meant to do. My mind does this every time. आज सेम 4 का एग्जाम दे के आया, थका था तो सो गया, और मेरा ब्रेन हमेशा डराता रहता है कि पढ़ा पढ़ा नहीं आज. मैं लिटरली स्ट्रेस में हूं तब से. रेस्ट जरूरी होता है अमित. सो बी वेरी केयरफुल कि आप किस चीज के बारे में आप स्ट्रेस ले रहे हो. अगर आप स्ट्रेस इस चीज के बारे में ले रहे हो कि आप इंसान हो, यू नीड रेस्ट, यू नीड सम सॉर्ट ऑफ क्लैरिटी इन योर लाइफ, यू नीड गुड न्यूट्रिशन, तो फिर आप बेकार का स्ट्रेस ले रहे हो. टेक स्ट्रेस अबाउट द राइट थिंग्स, नॉट अबाउट द रॉन्ग थिंग्स. एक इंसान एक नॉर्मल रेट में ही काम कर सकता है. अगर आप एक इंसान से ज्यादा एक्सपेक्ट करते हो जिसकी इतनी कैपेसिटी भी नहीं है, तो वो पागलपन फिर आप में है, नॉट इन एनीथिंग एल्स. लाइक ऑरा या पर्सन को देख के गुड या बैड फील होता है, अट्रैक्टिव पीपल. डू यू मीन लस्ट? One thing that you feel, one thing that also happens when you meet attractive people is lust. So you need to be aware about your feelings in that case, कि आपको क्या feel हो रहा है. Label them correctly at least. Understand yourself and understand what you're going through properly. And when you understand this thing, which is self knowledge, which is knowing what you're going through, that is actually going to really help you solve the problem that you have. अब मान लो कि मेरी मैक्सिमम प्रॉब्लम्स लाइफ में मेरे खराब रूटीन के वजह से है, या मैं कोई गलत एक्शन कर रहा हूँ उसके वजह से है, एंड मुझे पता ही नहीं कि मैं वो एक्शन क्या है, या मुझे लगता ही नहीं कि मेरी लाइफ में कोई प्रॉब्लम है, मैं वो प्रॉब्लम देख ही नहीं सकता, तो मैं उस चीज को सॉल्व कैसे करूंगा? उस प्रॉब्लम को पहले मुझे देखना जरूरी है ना, एंड फॉर दैट आई नीड अवेयरनेस कि मेरी लाइफ में कुछ गलत हो रहा है. सो लेबल इट करेक्टली कि आपको क्या एग्जैक्टली फील हो रहा है आफ्टर लुकिंग एट अट्रैक्टिव पीपल. इज इट लस्ट? लाइक आप ठीक से देखो यार कि क्या प्रॉब्लम क्या हो रही है, कैसी चीजें फील कर रहे हो आप. एंड वन वे दैट आई फाउंड रियली यूजफुल फॉर दिस इज आस्किंग योरसेल्फ व्हाई एवरी टाइम. कि अगर कोई भी चीज आप फील भी कर रहे हो तो अपने आप को व्हाई पूछो उस चीज को लेकर, कि चलो मुझे स्ट्रेस हो रही है, क्यों स्ट्रेस हो रही है? मुझे पता नहीं फ्यूचर में क्या होने वाला है, क्यों 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 मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि फ्यूचर में क्या होने वाला है, मैं डर क्यों रहा हूँ? क्या मेरी लाइफ में कभी कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं आई पहले? एंड अगर प्रॉब्लम आई है तो वो प्रॉब्लम का मैंने सोल्यूशन कभी नहीं निकाला क्या? एंड अगर प्रॉब्लम का सोल्यूशन नहीं भी निकाला तो क्या पक्का ये पक्की बात है कि मैं फ्यूचर में भी कभी अपने लाइफ की कोई प्रॉब्लम का सोल्यूशन नहीं निकाल पाऊंगा? एंड अगर मैं नहीं निकाल सकता तो क्या मेरे ऊपर इतना भी नहीं है कि मैं कुछ काम कर सकूं, कि मैं अपने आप को कुछ भी इतना काबिल बना सकूं कि मैं अपनी लाइफ की खुद की प्रॉब्लम्स को सॉल्व करूं? यू सी ऑल ऑफ दिस इज लाइक रोटेशनल. Why? The more you ask questions, the more curious you become about yourself, the more you will be attracted or lean towards learning, towards knowledge. And the more you do that, the more it will compel you to actually take action. बिकॉज दो ही चीजें हो सकती है, या तो आप अपने आप से सवाल पूछकर गिल्टी फील कर सकते हो, एंड वो गिल्टी फील करने के बाद आप एक्चुअली में कुछ कर सकते हो, या तो आप सिर्फ गिल्टी फील कर सकते हो. गिल्टी गिल्टी फील सब करते हैं, उसमें वो गिल्टी फील करने के बाद एक्शन बहुत कम लोग लेते हैं. सो आई होप दैट एक्सप्लेन्स अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स. Most of us are chasing motivation rather than starting and doing work on our goal every day without stressing about the result. Exactly. देखो काम तो इतना होता भी नहीं. We suffer more in our imagination than we do in our reality. जितना अगर हम अपना हमारे ब्रेन जितनी ताकत ये सारी सोशल मीडिया में स्क्रॉल करके एक एक जॉब के लिए एनालाइज करके फ्यूचर के रिजल्ट्स को प्रेडिक्ट करके कि क्या होगा अगर मेरा करियर परफेक्ट नहीं हुआ, इसमें है क्या कि उसमें नहीं है, इतना सोचने के अलावा अगर आप 10 मिनट वो काम कर लेते ना तो आपको इतनी टेंशन भी नहीं होती. लेकिन क्योंकि लोगों को काम नहीं करना, हमारा दिमाग नहीं चाहता कि हम काम करें. इट वांट्स टू मेक अस कंफर्टेबल इन अ वियर्ड वे. हमें क्योंकि कंफर्ट मिलता है जब हम पूरा इल्जाम दूसरी एक्सटर्नल चीजों पे डाल देते हैं ना तो हम रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी से हमें मुक्ति मिल जाती है. कि चलो मैं अगर मान लिया, मैंने बोल दिया कि देखो ये सारा यूट्यूब के एल्गोरिदम का खेल है, कि मैं इसलिए सक्सेसफुल नहीं बन पा रहा क्योंकि यार ये यूट्यूब ही ऐसा है, कि मुझे व्यूज नहीं आ रहे क्योंकि मेरी कुछ गलती नहीं है, गलती यूट्यूब की है. गलती मेरे लाइफ में कोई दूसरी प्रॉब्लम की है कि मेरे पास इतना टाइम ही नहीं मिलता, मैं इतना आलसी हूं, तो ये सारी प्रॉब्लम तो किसी और की है, मेरी है ही नहीं. मतलब मैं कंट्रोल ही नहीं कर सकता कि मैं अपना बेस्ट दे ही नहीं सकता. सो दैट दिस इज अ कोपिंग मैकेनिज्म. बहुत इजी होता है एंड मैक्सिमम लोग यही लेते हैं. इंस्टेड अगर मैं स्लोली भी अगर मैं अपने ऊपर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लूं कि यूट्यूब का चैनल कैसे नहीं चलेगा. हैव देयर नॉट बीन पीपल जो बहुत गंदी सिचुएशन से आते हैं, जिनको ना बोलना आता है ना कुछ करना आता है, लेकिन वो अपनी लाइफ में जो भी अचीव करना चाहते हैं वो करते हैं, वो अचीव. हाउ डू दोस पीपल डू दैट? They do that by improving themselves, constantly working on themselves, taking feedback, और वो feedback को लेने के बाद सुधरना. ये सारी चीजें अपने ऊपर होती है. एंड टू थिंक कि ये किसी और की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, एंड ये यूट्यूब की गलती है, मेरी लाइफ की गलती है, मैं इस देश में पैदा हो गया उसकी गलती है, ये करियर में स्कोप नहीं है, मुझे जॉब नहीं मिल रहा, जॉब मार्केट का प्रॉब्लम है, मेरे अंदर मोटिवेशन नहीं है, मेरी लाइफ का प्रॉब्लम है, मेरे पेरेंट्स की प्रॉब्लम है, मेरे फ्रेंड्स की प्रॉब्लम है. दिस इज जस्ट ब्लेमिंग मैकेनिज्म जो हम नेवर एंडिंग मरने दम तक कर सकते हैं. बट द ओनली सोल्यूशन और लाइक द बेटर ऑल्टरनेटिव इज कि हम एक्चुअली में काम करें. मे बी इट वोंट गिव यू मैजिकल रिजल्ट्स, एक दिन में ये आपको नहीं का काम करके दिखाएगा, बट अगर आप स्लोली इसको हर रोज करते जाओगे ना, सो यू विल मैजिकली सी दोज रिजल्ट्स. आपको रियलाइज नहीं होगा कि कब आप चेंज होने लग गए, बट इट ऑल स्टार्ट्स आफ्टर टेकिंग रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑन योरसेल्फ कि नहीं प्रॉब्लम मेरी है, सीखने की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी मेरी है. अगर मुझसे कुछ नहीं हो रहा, अगर मुझे खराब लग रहा है कोई चीज को लेकर, तो उसको सुधारने की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी मेरी है. ठीक है? सो टेक 100% रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी फॉर एवरीथिंग इन योर लाइफ, इवन इफ दिस इज नॉट ट्रू. अगर आपका ब्लेम ना भी हो तो अपने ऊपर लेना सीखो. अगर आपको कोई ऑफेंड कर जाए तो ये मत सोचो कि यार ये मुझे ऑफेंड क्यों करके गया है, ये सोचो कि मैं इससे कैसे ऑफेंड हो गया. क्योंकि मैक्सिमम लोगों का तो काम है ही कि वो आपको कुछ भी बोलेंगे, आपको उल्टा फुल्टा बोलेंगे, आपको ओपिनियन देंगे, आपको बेकार का ज्ञान देंगे. बट आप सोचो कि मैं इससे कैसे, लाइक हाउ कुड आई, अगर मैं लिटरल टर्म्स में बात करूं, हाउ कैन दैट पर्सन रेज बेट मी? तो क्या गलती मेरी हुई, क्या उसकी उसकी हुई? मेरी हुई ना, क्योंकि उसने तो सिर्फ बोल दिया, वो सबको बोलता है, उसका नेचर है वैसा. लेकिन अगर मैंने उससे सुनकर मैं गुस्सा हो गया या मेरी कोई फीलिंग आ गई, तो वो तो गलती मेरी हुई ना. फिर मैं कंट्रोल नहीं कर पाया अपने आप को. So when you make this shift, right, everything in your life will start to change. It won't be easy. It won't be easy. I already warned you. अगर आपको लग रहा है कि बहुत इजीली हो जाएगा, तो नहीं, it will be painful. In fact, आपको लगेगा यार, क्योंकि it is hard, it is tough. आप खुद सोचो यार, अगर लाइफ में रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लेना इतना टफ है, गवर्नमेंट नहीं लेती अपनी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, क्यों क्यों आप पॉलिटिक्स में ये क्यों देखते होते हुए कि हमेशा पार्टीज डिफ्लेक्ट करती है? वो ये नहीं बोलेगी कि मैंने काम क्या किया है, वो हमेशा बोलेगी कि देखो उस टाइम में ये प्रॉब्लम थी, देखो उस गवर्नमेंट ने ऐसा किया था, देखो देखो ये लोग ऐसा कर रहे हैं। सबसे इजी चीज है ये लाइफ में करना कि खुद रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी मत लो, दूसरे पर थोप दो। एंड मैक्सिमम लोग यही करते हैं, दे डोंट टेक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, दे लाइक टू ब्लेम. But it is the hardest task to accept it on yourself. But when you do it, you will get the most results out of it. You will be joyous, you will get the ultimate freedom that you so called want. आज कुछ अलग बातें हो जाए। कैसी बातें, कैसी बातों की बात कर रहे हो आप? हाय समीर, what do you mean by title? I think the title is very self-explanatory. इमेजिन करो हम किसी देश से या कोई जंग में है हम, एंड रादर देन फाइटिंग दोस पीपल, हम बोल रहे हैं कि यार ये जंग में खड़े क्यों है हम? अगर दो देश या दो एनिमीज एक दूसरे से जंग करने के लिए खड़े हैं, राइट, वी आर इन अ बैटल, इमेजिन. सो व्हाट शुड पीपल डू? शुड दे फाइट ईच अदर एंड फिगर आउट हु इज द विनर, or should they over analyze कि यार should we be standing in war in the first place? Is it right to do the war? Should I even fight? Now I don't mean to get philosophical here. What I mean is that ideally, if two countries are standing in a war, what is the most efficient thing that a country can do? They can all actually be ready and prepared for the war. So if people are not ready to accept that we are in a war, that country will probably lose, or that party, or whatever, that I don't exactly remember the word for what it's called when two people are fighting in a war. But the party which is not ready, the party which is questioning itself, which is confused, they will lose. The party or the country that is decided, that knows that my duty is to fight this war and I will do it in the best possible way, those people will probably win. But unfortunately, for most people, we don't even know. We don't even know, or we don't even realize that this is a battle every day, every minute, every second that we are spending of our life without doing something for ourselves, without actually taking action. It's just like, it's pointless. So the least that you can do, guys, is that you can feel a little bit of pain. You can feel a little bit of suffering. When things don't go in the way that you want them to go, at least realize this. Know that maybe something that you're doing is not right. That's why you're not getting the results that you want, right? And that should lead you to the curiosity for knowledge, for learning more, to do something, to get out. Only when you have problems in your life, only then will you actually take some action. If there were no problems, and be very thankful for those problems, be very thankful for the suffering, because it was only due to the suffering that you could actually even make this realization. It was only due to some sort of a problem that you guys might have had, which you watched my videos when I was solving that problem for you, when you seemed that to get some sort of an answer from me. And when you got that answer, you were more likely and you got more curious. You realized that, yeah, there are so many problems that I have to deal with. And when you realize those problems, only then you started to get more curious, and then you got more awareness. I hope I'm making my point very clear. यस सर, अब मुझे मेरे सवाल का जवाब मिल गया। बढ़िया है भाई। जब लाइफ अकॉर्डिंगली नहीं चलती तब क्या किया जाए? दो ही चीजें कर सकते हो आप जब लाइफ अकॉर्डिंगली नहीं चलती। या तो आप क्वेश्चन पूछो, अपने आप से सवाल पूछो कि ऐसी क्या चीज चाहिए आपको जो नहीं चल पा रही, एंड क्यों नहीं चल पा रही, एंड अगर नहीं चल पा रही तो मैं इसमें क्या कर सकता हूँ, हाउ कैन आई चेंज इट, हाउ कैन आई मेक इट सो जो मैं चाहता हूँ वो हो। एंड फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, हाउ कैन आई मेक इट कि मैं पहले सही चीज चाहना सीखूं। क्या ऐसा तो नहीं कि मैं कोई गलत चीज चाह रहा हूं? बिकॉज इफ एज ए ह्यूमन मेरी चाहत क्या है, इफ आई रियली वांट कि मैं उड़ने लगूं, तो देन दैट इज स्टूपिड, राइट? हो सकता है कि मैं चाहता हूं कि मैं उड़ने लगूं, एंड शायद मैं अपनी पूरी जिंदगी निकाल दूं ये सोचते सोचते कि मैं अगर मैं उड़ नहीं सकता तो मेरी लाइफ वेस्ट हो रही है। तो इसमें गलती क्या चीज की है? मेरी गलती है ना कि मैंने गलत चीज की मांग कर ली, ऐसी चीज की मांग कर ली जो पॉसिबल ही नहीं है साइंटिफिकली। तो स्टुपिडिटी तो मेरी हुई ना। सो ये चीज को एनालाइज करो, सोचो, रिफ्लेक्ट, एंड सिर्फ सोचना नहीं है, सोचने के बाद उस चीज पे एक्शन भी लेना है। क्योंकि सिर्फ सोचने से एक ही चीज होती है, दैट इज ओवर थिंकिंग। एंड ओवर थिंकिंग से ना आज तक दुनिया बदली है ना कभी बदलेगी। अगर ओवर थिंकिंग करने की आपकी वो आदत है, पैटर्न है आपका कि हमेशा हर चीज के बारे में से सोचते रहते हो, सो डोंट, not don't, but try to understand or at least be aware that this is your pattern, this is something that you're doing with everything. That is the least you can do. आज मोदी जी, परुल यार, क्या कर रहे हो यार? आप धंधा बंद करवाओगे क्या? भैया, लॉ में करियर बनाना इतना मुश्किल क्यों है? कुछ मुश्किल नहीं है समीर जी। Only yesterday I was talking to some people who were trying to make their career in laws, or like in law, and they were in their first year of law. सो ऐसा कुछ मुश्किल तो नहीं है। दे वर इन अ रियली गुड कॉलेज एक्चुअली, एंड they were working really well, and I think that after having conversation with them I realized कि यार they will probably make for good law people, like वो law में अच्छा कुछ कुछ ना कुछ तो अच्छा करेंगे, because I saw a lot of motivation from them. And you know what I got? जब मैंने उनसे पूछा कि why did you choose law, तो उन्होंने एक ने बोला कि मैं जब 6th 7th में थी तब से ही I had decided कि मैं law में जाने वाली हूँ। सो आई थिंक दैट अगर आपकी मोटिवेशन राइट है और आपका आउटकम बेस्ड ये है कि नहीं, आपको करियर से आपकी क्लैरिटी पूरी है कि हाँ मुझे ये करना है, एंड ये करने के लिए मुझे ये करना पड़ेगा, एंड आपके अंदर इतना पेशेंस है, इफ यू हैव दिस थिंग, तो आप कर ही सो द चांसेस ऑफ यू अचीविंग दैट थिंग दे बिकम रियली क्रिस्टल क्लियर। ध्रुव राठी, ध्रुव राठी के वाइब्स आ रहे हैं आपसे? ध्रुव राठी के वाइब्स, इंटरेस्टिंग। भैया, टेस्ट एनालिसिस प्लस मिस्टेक नोटबुक कैसे बनाएं बता दो। मुझे नहीं पता कि ये क्या होता है जो आपने लिखा है, बट मैं आपको सिर्फ इतना बोलूंगा इन टर्म्स ऑफ नोट टेकिंग जो मुझे काम आया है। आई डोंट नो व्हाट यू मीन बाय टेस्ट एनालिसिस प्लस मिस्टेक नोटबुक, बट आई एम गेसिंग और अज्यूमिंग कि इट्स समथिंग अबाउट टेकिंग नोट्स और लाइक मे बी जर्नलिंग। तो मैं आपको एक बहुत हेल्पफुल टिप बताता हूँ, व्हाट वर्क फॉर मी इज, और व्हाट इज अ मिस्टेक दैट आई मेड, इज दैट मैं बहुत सारी चीजों के बारे में सोचता हूँ, ऑलराइट? ऑफ कोर्स आई एम द मास्टर ओवर थिंकर। द ओनली रीजन दैट मैं आपको इतना बोल पाता हूँ ऑन ओवर थिंकिंग, या मैं आपको गाइड कर पाता हूँ, थोड़ा भी आपको थोड़ी भी हेल्प मिलती है, दैट इज बिकॉज मैं खुद इतना सोचता हूँ। तो जितनी भी गलती मैंने की है मैं उसके नजरिए से ही आपको गाइड करने की कोशिश करता हूँ, ठीक है? सो व्हाट हैज वर्क फॉर मी इज, जब मैं अपने आप को बहुत अनरियलिस्टिक ये दे देता हूँ कि मैं नोट टेकिंग करूंगा, मैं ठीक से करूंगा, वो करूंगा, तो बहुत सारी चीजें गड़बड़ हो जाती है। बट व्हेन आई जस्ट सिट एंड आई स्टार्ट राइटिंग, राइट, ये जो भी मैं सोच रहा हूँ, लेट्स ट्राई एंड ऑर्गेनाइज दिस थिंग इनटू अ नोट टेकिंग सिस्टम, तो आराम से वो फ्लो में निकल जाता है। So always, like, I don't exactly know कि what you mean by mistake notebook, but मैं मैं एक आपको सिंपल एक्सरसाइज या प्रैक्टिस बता रहा हूँ, that every day journal, at least start journaling, and every day whatever you're going through, whatever you have gone through in the day, just try and give yourself maybe 2 to 5 minutes and think about those things, and then do a journaling, do journaling. And what is journaling? Is simply writing. Take any form, it can be like you do it physically by using a pen on a paper, yeah, so you can just use note taking system. Maybe you can do it on your phone, you can do it on your laptop. I'll show you. I do it on my laptop. I do it everywhere, honestly. I just make notes. I also do it. I'll show you what I was doing. Let me share it with you guys. Where is it? ये देखो, these are my notes. This was my script for one of my videos that I was making before a few days. So I've recently tried to do this much more now, कि जितनी भी चीजें मैं पढ़ रहा हूँ या लर्न कर रहा हूँ ना, उसको मैं नोट्स बनाने लग जाता हूँ उस चीज के बारे में. देखो, this is when I was like, I'm actually reading a lecture on or looking at a lecture from समथिंग. तो उसके हिसाब से मैंने नोट्स बनाए हैं. मैंने 3 पॉइंट लिखे हैं, ज्यादा पॉइंट नहीं लिखे, सिर्फ 3 लिखे हैं, बट ये याद रह गया मुझे. ये मेरे नोट्स है, ठीक है. देन ये भी एक मेरी वीडियो है, इसके ऊपर मैंने स्क्रिप्ट बनाई थी. मतलब मैं ये स्क्रिप्ट, मतलब मैंने जो मेरे दिमाग में था उसको मैंने ठीक से नोट डाउन किया था, जॉट डाउन किया था. सो दिस इज व्हाट आई यूज. सो आई वुड सजेस्ट सिमिलर थिंग्स, लाइक अगर आप स्टार्ट करना चाहते हो, अगर आप बहुत ज्यादा ओवर थिंकिंग करते हो, तो कीप जर्नलिंग. Write down whatever you have, and you will find that that helps you. How much will you advise anyone to study for? Amit, when it comes to studying, I would very much prioritize quality work over quantity work. And this is a mistake that most students make when studying. We think that the more hours we are studying for, the more efficient we are. And this happens in corporate life also. You will see this happening. कि इंडिया में अगर जैसे वो कोट, फेमस कोट था, एक सीईओ ने दे दिया था कि आप एक हफ्ते में 70 घंटे काम करो. तो आपको क्या लगता है कि जितने भी लोग 70 घंटे काम कर रहे हैं एक वीक में, आप अगर कभी काम करके देखना, अगर आप एक दिन में 10 घंटे से भी ज्यादा काम कर रहे हो ना, तो मे बी ओनली फॉर 1 or 2 hours यू आर एक्चुअली बीइंग इफेक्टिव, और मे बी इवन एट मोस्ट 3 hours. उससे ज्यादा है ना, बाकी जितना भी काम हो रहा है आपका वेस्ट ही हो रहा है, आपकी कोई एफिशिएंसी नहीं बचती. यू आर सो टायर्ड कि आपकी काम की क्वालिटी इतनी खराब हो जाती है. सो 1 to 3 hours, 3 hours for experts, 3 hours for people who have been doing this for a long time, and 1 hour for people like us who are beginners, जो ज्यादा काम करने की जितने अभी कैपेसिटी ही नहीं है, जो जैसे लोगों जिस लोगों के पास ज्यादा फोकस ही नहीं होता, कि वो एक चीज में जल्दी जल्दी अपना ध्यान बढ़ जाता है. तो वैसे लोगों के लिए आई वुड सजेस्ट फॉर स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट्स ओनली 15 मिनट्स, 30 मिनट्स, 45 मिनट्स, 1 hour, इतने गैप में काम करो हर रोज. भले क्वालिटी वर्क ये होना चाहिए, ये इतना करो, बाकी के ऊपर कर सकते हो आप, बट अपना एम ऐसे रखो कि अगर मैंने आधे घंटे भी ठीक से कर ली ना, या मैंने 1 घंटा भी क्वालिटी पढ़ाई कर ली ना, डीप वर्क, फोकस्ड वर्क, तो उसकी इंपॉर्टेंस बहुत ज्यादा है कंपेयर टू अगर मैंने 10 घंटे भी पढ़ लिया बट मेरा दिमाग ही नहीं लग रहा है उस चीज में अच्छे से. Whenever I watch foreign creators vlogs and see what their countries are like, I start getting all sad, like, damn, why am I still here? So I get that, that is something that can come to you. But Parul, there is only one thing that you can do. Either you can look at that and you can feel this thing of sadness, or oh, why is it like that? Or you can become the kind of person that would make those kind of countries, and you can actively improve yourself. And I know this might be a very weird view कि यार ये क्या है, बट ये मेरा माइंडसेट है कि अगर मैं कोई अच्छी चीज देखता हूँ तो मुझे लगता है कि मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ इस चीज को. या तो मैं आई कैन फील वेरी बैड कि यार ये इतनी अच्छी चीजें भी दुनिया में एग्जिस्ट करती है, और आई कैन से दैट आई वांट टू बिकम द पर्सन दैट डिजर्व्स दीज थिंग्स. And what do I do? What is something that I can control immediately? That is, I can become a very good citizen. I can not, when I say a good citizen, I don't mean in that way. I hope you don't get it in the wrong way. Not in a way कि नहीं मैं जो government बोल रही मैं वो कर लूँ. More like, how can I become the best version of myself? Because inevitably, if you become the best version of yourself, you will be improving your country. You will be improving people around you. You will be motivating your family. You will have such a net positive effect on people around you that everything will change around you. And it is absolutely bonkers the amount of change that we can inspire only by just improving ourselves or taking responsibility on ourselves, looking at things not from other people's failure, but looking at things as our failure, accepting responsibility. That okay, I understand that these countries have it very well, but what do those citizens do? Those citizens like, they take responsibility upon themselves. They will not they won't like they won't waste anything. Like they will be much more cleaner. They will take responsibility upon themselves. Like all you guys must have heard about Japanese culture, कि वो जहां पे भी जाते हैं they maintain such a good level of cleanliness. I remember coming across this reel or this video जब भी वर्ल्ड कप हुआ था फुटबॉल का, कि सारी कंट्रीज में से एक जापान कंट्री थी. आई एम सॉरी, आई डोंट एग्जैक्टली रिमेंबर द कंट्री, बट जो एक वर्ल्ड कप की टीम थी, वाज इट कोरिया और वाज इट जापान? आई डोंट एग्जैक्टली रिमेंबर. आई थिंक इट वाज जापान. सॉरी, इट वाज नॉट कोरिया. सो जापान थी कि वो हर मैच के बाद स्टेडियम को साफ कर रही थी. कैन यू इमेजिन दिस काइंड ऑफ बिहेवियर कमिंग फ्रॉम आवर कंट्री सिटीजंस? तो अब इसका भी एक गलत मतलब निकाल सकते हैं लोग बोल सकते हैं कि चलो सब ऐसे ही है तो मैं भी ऐसा ही बनूं. नहीं. If you clean after yourself, that is the best thing that you can do. I'm very careful about this, by the way. At some point मैं इतना था कि मैं खुद तो कचरा फेंकता नहीं हूँ ज्यादातर. मुझे खराब लगता है, मुझे अजीब लगता है. एंड अगर मेरे सामने कोई फेंक रहा है ना, तो मैं उसको 2-3 सुनाता हूँ हमेशा. एंड अगर वो सुनाता तो हूँ, एंड फिर मैं वो कचरा भी उठा लेता हूँ अगर मेरे से हो सकता है तो. So I would really suggest to implement this sort of, or have this sort of a mindset. We can never make India a developed and civilized nation ever. See, again, ये मतलब बहुत इजी है यार कि आप डिफ्लेक्ट कर लो, आप बोल लो कि वी दिस कैन नेवर हैपन, दिस वो ये नहीं होगा, ये नहीं होगा. आप इतना आगे का मत सोचो. आप अकेले आप पूरी पूरी दुनिया से नहीं लड़ सकते अनफॉर्चुनेटली, बट क्या आप क्या कर सकते हो? व्हाट इज द बेस्ट थिंग दैट यू कैन डू? आप अपने आप को सुधार सकते हो. एंड अगर आप अपने आप को सुधार के आप कचरा नहीं फेंकोगे, आप अपना माइंडसेट सुधारोगे, तो अपने आप दुनिया तो ठीक हो जाएगी यार. तो आप इतना मत सोचो कि मुझे पूरी दुनिया बदलनी है. पहले आप अपने आप को बदलो, अपने आप पे काम करो, अपने माइंडसेट को इंप्रूव करो, अपने ऊपर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लो. कि देश खराब है, अरे देश खराब है तो आप तो सुधर सकते हो ना. आप सुधर जाओ, पहले आप सुधर जाओ, फिर देश का सोचना. बहुत इजी है कंप्लेन करना यार आपको. आप जाओ ऑनलाइन, आप देखो रेडिट पे बैठकर लोग पूरे दिन कंप्लेन कर रहे हैं. लेकिन अगर इतने ही लोग कंप्लेन करने के सिवा वो अपने ऊपर काम करे, अपने माइंडसेट के ऊपर काम करे, तो आपको क्या लगता है देश ऐसा रहेगा क्या? इफ वी स्टार्ट डिमांडिंग, आप खुद सोचो, मे बी अ लिटिल बिट पॉलिटिकल, बट आप खुद सोचो, ये जो अभी प्रोटेस्ट हुआ था, द फर्स्ट प्रोटेस्ट इन अ लॉन्ग टाइम जो स्टूडेंट्स के लिए हुआ था. I don't mean to get political now. My point is not political, but it is purely philosophical. अब सोचो कि अगर जो फाउंडर था अभिजीत दिपके, ठीक है, अगर उसने भी ऐसा सोचा होता कि नहीं नहीं यार देखो इंडिया की तो हालत इतनी खराब है. वो यूएस में था, खुद वो यूएस में था, राइट? अच्छे से ही कुड हैव हैड लाइफ वही यूएस में रहकर. बट दैट गाय, बिकॉज उसने तो कैजुअली स्टार्ट किया था. ही डिड नॉट इवन मीन टू डू दिस. Now I know there are a lot of political, यहाँ पे कोई बोल सकता है, but my point is philosophical guys. मैं यहाँ पे political कुछ बोल ही नहीं रहा हूँ. But the thing is कि वो US से आया and he fought, he did that thing. I mean I admire that कि action, that is action. अब मुझे पता है बहुत लोग बोल सकते हैं कि नहीं foreign involvement ये वो जो भी, but उस बंदे ने किया काम. So आप खुद सोचो यार, अगर सभी सिटीजन एक दुनिया के या सभी लोग सोचने लगे एक नेशन के कि नहीं नहीं देश तो बर्बाद है, ये है पॉलिटिक्स, ये है वो है, तो फिर काम कौन करेगा? और अगर आप चाहते हो कि आप देश को या अपनी जिंदगी को सुधारो, तो सबसे पहले अपने आप को सुधारो. झारखंड प्रोटेस्ट का क्या हुआ, अब कहाँ है वो? आई डोंट मीन टू टॉक अबाउट पॉलिटिक्स यार. देखो अभी वापस आपने पॉलिटिकल पॉइंट रेज किया. आई होप आप समझ रहे हो कि मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ यहाँ पे. पहली बात मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि उसने एक्शन लिया, जो चीज में वो मानता था, भले जो भी आप बोल दो उसके अलावा, बट उसने एक्शन लिया एंड उसने अपना वो इम्पैक्ट छोड़ा. एंड अगर आप इतने क्वेश्चन सवाल पूछ रहे हो, तो शायद आपको थोड़े सवाल अपने सरकार से भी पूछ लेने चाहिए. He is not, by the way, he is not a politician. Okay, he has very that party, the कॉकरोच जनता पार्टी, जिसका नाम है कॉकरोच जनता पार्टी, उसने खुद डिक्लेयर किया उन्होंने कि वो पॉलिटिक्स में नहीं घुस रहे. दे आर एन एक्टिविस्ट ग्रुप. तो आप उतने सवाल जितने उनसे पूछ रहे हो, उतने सवाल अगर आप सरकार से भी पूछ लो ना, इतनी अकाउंटेबिलिटी आप सरकार से मांगोगे ना, इतनी कॉम्पिटेंस आप दूसरे देश के जो सिस्टम ब्यूरोक्रेट्स है उनसे मांगोगे ना, तो शायद हमारा देश शायद एक्चुअली में इंप्रूव हो सकता है. Anyways, that's it. That's all politics. That's all the political discussion that I'm willing to have. इसके बाद no more. Sorry guys, that is not what I'm here for. Hello, it's been a long while since I last saw you. How are you doing? I'm doing great. I'm doing great, Akhil. How are you doing? Reply दो दे रहा हूँ. Why is it so hard to defeat lust? It's hard to defeat lust because it's our biological imperative. It's something. Now, see, I'll tell you, there is a little bit of a problem with the way we question this. You don't have to defeat lust. You have to understand lust. You have to be aware about lust. Lust is not something that you need to defeat. Lust is something that you need to understand. And when you understand the problem, you will automatically like solve it. At least 80% of the problem can be solved if you understand things. But if you think that lust is like a monster, it is like a dragon that must be defeated, who gave you this idea that you need to defeat lust? Understand lust. Why is lust happening? Why is it that you feel a certain way? Why is it? It's human, it's biological to feel lust. But now if you go with the mindset that you have to defeat lust, then you might have a problem in the way that you've understood it. So you don't need to defeat lust. You need to understand. Again, I'm repeating. Once you understand it, then you can ask further questions that, okay, this is how I'm feeling. Is there a problem with how I'm feeling? No, there is not a problem. People for decades, like we literally exist because of this. This is our biological imperative to procreate. Now, then you can ask further questions and then you can go from that. Okay. Many of my elders said lust is a honey trap. Elders have said a lot. Lots of people have mouths. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone can do whatever they want. So everyone will say whatever they want. But do you take everything seriously? There are like thousands of things that people have said. So question, learn to question. Your elders have said something, but what then? What research can you do? Whatever your elders have said, it might be true for them, but is it important that it is true for you as well? Do your own research. Do you think why do you think it's a trap? Okay, let's accept for a second that it's a trap, but why is it a trap? And if it's a trap, don't you think you need to come out of the trap? And has anyone ever escaped it? Has it not been the case that where most people have gone through it? And if most people are going through it, then it's very simple that there is a solution to that. And if there is a solution to that, then work towards that solution. Simple. I'm anti-Indian culture and I'm very vocal about it, and nobody could ever convince me to back this effed up, misogynistic, pollution-causing, irrational culture ever in my life. And here, period. And let me clear one thing: still, anti-Indian culture doesn't mean anti-India. Just minding gang. Cool, Parul, cool. But again, I hope you understand the point that I'm trying to elaborate on. I'm not trying to talk about nationalism or what we should do. It's just a mindset. It's purely a mindset. It's purely psychology. It's purely philosophy. That if all of us, I mean, I understand the importance of questioning things. I understand the importance of criticizing things, and very much we should do it. We should hold people accountable. But I think the best thing in your life that you can do is holding your own self accountable. And that is what I believe everyone's duty is, to hold themselves the most accountable. Okay, I understand that this is the problem, these are the wide problems in our society, in our country, but what am I doing about it? Okay, I understand that raising awareness about these problems, that is also something that you can do. You can voice yourself, but do you think merely voicing is enough? It's not enough. Do you think if India were to come out, entire India were to come out on the streets and then fight the whole world that, oh, like there is injustice happening to us, and that would change anything? It wouldn't change anything, because we don't have the, if until and unless we don't have the might, we don't have the militaristic power, we don't have some way to inspire others, uh, we can like some way where like we can really change the world on a large scale. We don't have that influence. It's all going to be useless. So just voicing things out is not enough in itself. You need to be powerful. And in order to be powerful, you need to raise yourself accountable. Brother, don't fight lust. You can't win. Just run from it. Akhil, again, like run from it. You only run from enemies. If you how many times has running from a problem helped you? Let's say there is a storm coming in my, like, okay, this is not a good example. This is not a good example, because if there's a storm coming, you probably want to run. But the point here is that, let's say there is a storm coming every day in your city or wherever you live. How many times can you run from it? Maybe you will run from it once, twice, thrice, but at some point you have to adapt, right? You have to understand that this storm is coming every day. So now I'll make my city in a way that it can withstand these storms, or it understands that these storms are going to come every day. So I need to prepare my home in a way that these storms cannot affect me. And even if, like, because the storms, this is the nature of the storm to come every day. But is it your nature to keep running from it? There are two options. Yeah, you can run from it, truly, but you can also make your city in a way that it can withstand those storms. So work on making your city in a way that it can withstand those storms, and understand, first of all, that this storm is going to come every day, this so-called storm. Understand, awareness, self-knowledge. We will run from storm to another city, or we can change city. Okay, sure, you can change cities, but that storm is not going to leave you. That storm is going to still come every day. Could you explain how to do that? By understanding lust, Akhil, understanding that it is your nature to feel certain way, feel a certain way about things. And then, instead of having this nature of overcoming it, accepting it and channeling it into different things. It's what is it ultimately? It's a form of energy. And when you get this form of energy, express it healthily. You don't have to be like, you don't have to be a complete social, like, I don't know, like antisocial person who does not interact with other people or the other gender. If you have these feelings, be honest with yourself first and foremost. If you are being, like, unfortunately, in our country, our voice, like, against this thing in last, we are so conservative in our, just in terms of our feelings, or in terms of how we express lust. We think that just lust is bad. Lust is like that, it's a monster, it's evil. And that, like, the best situation is that we don't feel lust. But that is never going to happen. You're fighting a losing battle, because lust is like, it's a biological imperative. How are you going to fight biology? You can't fight biology. So learn to express it in a healthy manner. Understand that there is nothing wrong with you feeling lust. Do you struggle from it? I'm human, of course I do. But I understand it much better. Thanks to my age, thanks to my mistakes, thanks to my experience, I understand it much better. To say that I don't struggle from it would be to say that I'm not even human. But I am human, and everyone who is human must go through it. Chats are rebellious today. Perhaps. And I would say that a lot of, I wouldn't say it's rebellious, it's interesting, it's nice, right? It's nice to have these discourses. We should have it, I think. रिप्लाई दो भैया, बिल्कुल दे रहा हूँ आपका रिप्लाई. भैया, should we consider a career like an experiment? Like, let me give my 100%, let's see what happens. If the experiment fail, I will learn and try different. Yeah, of course, 100% you should. That's a very good mindset, Sahil. Not only career, in fact, I extend to say that not only our careers, we should even take our lives as experiment. And we should have this mindset that, okay, I will try things. If they work, amazing. If they don't, I'll learn and I'll come back again. Because what else is it? What else can you do? 11th JE aspirant guide, please. The only advice that I can give you, artistic creation, for your, if you're asking guide or advice, is that be consistent. Don't set unrealistic goals for yourself. Go through the syllabus that you have to cover. Give yourself very realistic goals. Maybe for the first half of my 11th, I'm going to do so and so. साइंस में मैं ये चैप्टर्स कंप्लीट करूंगा, फिजिक्स में मैं ये करूंगा, इसमें ये करूंगा, केमिस्ट्री में इतने करूंगा, इतने करूंगा, इतने 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 करके करूंगा. एंड बी वेरी रियलिस्टिक विद योर गोल्स. डोंट बी अनरियलिस्टिक प्लीज. ऑर्गेनाइज. एंड आपका सबसे जो बेस्ट चीज आप कर सकते हो आर्टिस्टिक क्रिएशन, और व्हाट यू कैन डू बेस्ट इज दैट हैव एटलीस्ट a simple base action step for you every day. That every day I'm going to study, maybe at least let's confirm that I'll study 15 minutes for every subject. Let's say physics 15 minutes, I'll do maybe one question I'll solve every day. Chemistry every day one question I'll solve. Whatever you're not good at, for example, like if say you're very bad or you're very poor at this certain chapter in chemistry, you have a hard time understanding that, every day one question you will solve from it every single day. But if you do this, you will make much more progress than like maybe studying 10 hours one day in a 1 month. So that is my advice. Artistic creation, set yourself a very simple action step. I too have a somewhat rebellious question. Okay, I'll go through your question. Ritvik, where is your question? I don't see your question. People older than you are not always right. Have some limited experience or how to decide whether the advice is relevant for me or not, or whether my own thinking is biased. How will I decide if someone, like let's say I've just watched a YouTube video from this creator, and he says that this method that he has, right? The method that he has is like it's going to magically make me crores of rupees on YouTube. It's going to give me success. One thing, I'm first going to see if it has actually worked for him. Second thing, I'm going to question him. Third, I'm going to try it myself. If all of these things I do, then I can know 100% if what he's saying is actually right, or if it's just like it's maybe it can also be the case that it worked for him, but it definitely won't work for me. So these three things are what I'll do. First, I'll question, I'll see where he's coming from, what he actually did. I'll try to listen to him. Second, if it is working for him, I'll see the proof that did it actually work for more than just him, or is it only something that worked for that particular person. How many people have done that so-called method, and how many things does this method apply to. Third, I'll do it myself. After having determined that yeah, this sounds convincing, this makes sense, a little bit of sense, I'll try it myself. All these three things you can do. Besharmeen, what's the thought behind your title? It's self-explanatory. Like the thought is basically that all of us, every minute we spend, every moment we spend, we are actually losing our time. But every minute that we spend and we are not realizing something, we're not actually actively trying to change something about our life, we're not doing something in any way to contribute to our own personal growth, somewhat maybe reading, getting some sort of life experience, talking with your friend, having a deep conversation, reading something. It doesn't even have to be reading. Even if you're resting every minute, even if you're just resting, right, you're doing justice to yourself. And if you're not doing any of those things, you're living in the same confusion earlier that you were in before. If you're living in the same trap every day, you're literally in hell. That is the definition of hell. Imagine that there is no hope for you. Imagine that everything is predetermined. Okay, life is going to always be bad for me. That is what being in a battle or a war is. And when you're asleep, it's just like you've accepted that yeah, the war is happening, other people will fight, I don't care, this is not even my war. Maybe I was dragged into it, there is nothing doing, I'm just sleeping. That is the thought behind my title. ब्राउन रंग किसने गाया था? हनी सिंह ने गाया था, राइट? वाओ, क्रेजी चैट. Religious crowds, loud as DJs, chaos, pollution, the whole package, and we locals don't even feel safe sometimes. Like, how are we supposed to call this culture and just blindly accept it forever? It's not going to change unless we actually reform the parts of Indian culture that are harmful. Obviously, other countries have their own problems too. I'm not denying that we've got to deal with. Parul, you know what is also one more thing that all of us can do is have conversations about it. Unfortunately, I've seen that, and I don't know how this has happened, how it has happened in our country, that people are not willing to have conversations. People are not willing to have this open mindset that, yeah, I can make mistakes. It's just that, okay, elders have said this. Okay, this is the superstition. This is our culture, sir. So people need to understand conversations is the start of everything. Awareness is the start of everything. Knowledge, self-knowledge, learning, curiosity, education. These are all the important facets of a good developing society. Question, conversation, debate, healthy debate, mind you, not the violent kind of debate where like you have to just you have to scream, the kind of media houses that you see, all screaming at each other. Even in parliament this happens, that people are just screaming at each other. I think it's a very beautiful representation of our country. It's just that nothing ever gets like we don't even know, we don't have the intellect, we don't have the knowledge, unfortunately, that how to solve something, how to accept, how to take accountability. Unfortunate. But what you can do today, what you guys, everyone watching this stream, if you want to improve maybe the world, maybe the country, maybe the state that you live in, maybe your situation, what you can do is that you can improve yourself, raise questions for yourself, become a better person. That is the best revenge that you can take from any injustice having been done to you. If you think that there is injustice being done to you, improve yourself, change it, change that thing, right? By the way, guys, this is maybe very personal or something. I don't know if I should reveal this, but what I've been recently doing is I've been going through these Gita lectures, all right, and it's really like helped me. It's really helped me, and it's something that I've done in the past, and it's like I've been reading it. I analyze it. I like to go through it, and I think it has a lot of answers. It actually vouches against all of what we think is superstitious. It actually vouches against all of that we think is bogus, all these bogus things, that okay, this is the ritual, this is what we should do, sacrifice, do this, that. Unfortunately, most of us are deluding ourselves. We are deluding ourselves. भैया, आप कर्दे कहाँ से खरीदते हो? कर्दे, what does कर्दे mean? I think a lot of you guys, I don't know if you guys are philosophical in nature, but if you are, I think you should read a lot more. You guys should start reading more. कपड़े कहाँ से खरीदते हो? मैं कपड़े खरीदता हूँ. There is no certain particular brand that I buy from, but Westside. Westside is one brand. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but मैं वहाँ से खरीदता हूँ. There are also other brands that I use or I have clothes from. You're good at ignoring a few questions. I'm not ignoring any questions. There are just simply too many questions for me to be able to answer. Repeat, sometimes I feel like there's an inherent futility to everything we do in life. We keep striving, achieving, and moving forward, but I can't help thinking what. Oh my god, I can't help thinking what ultimately gives any of it meaning. Your purpose gives it meaning, Matilda. Your purpose gives it. If it's coming from your heart, again, at the root of it, it's self knowledge. It's asking yourself questions. It's asking that maybe you are achieving. What is your definition of achieving? Are you just achieving, or are you doing something because others want you to do it? Are you only doing something because it's the culture? Are you doing something because your elders have said that you need to do it? Are you only doing something because everyone in your friend group is doing it? Really introspect, reflect upon these things. What is it that what do you want to achieve, and why do you want to achieve it? What is your definition of moving forward? My definition of moving forward is definitely not just moving the same path that has been predestined for me. My achievement, my definition of achievement or moving forward is learning. And it's like every day keeping forward, learning towards freedom until I get freedom. And freedom, like it's kind of a paradox that the more you learn, the more free you will become. The truth will set you free. And that with that like, not unfortunately, but we might have this misconception that when people say that when you read something spiritual, or like the battle in your life is just like it just comes from just meditating. But that's not the answer. In fact, you have to in fact, if you want to change, the most you have to change yourself, and in order to change yourself, you'll have to sacrifice a lot of things that mean a lot to you. That's like in itself, it's a war against yourself, and that is the most powerful war that you can have. And every single one can participate in that war, and we are all actively fighting that war right now. Of course, now whether you're choosing to actually be aware about it, or whether you're choosing to sleep about it, every day you're waking up, and every day you're feeling things, you face suffering, but you choose not to do anything about it. You choose to be maybe ignorant about it. That is again your choice. That is your choice. You cannot say that you cannot say that you went through all your entire life and you didn't do anything, and then you blame the life for it. You blame other people for it. You blame your environment for it. You blame your country for it. It was your choice. If you did not like it so much, then why didn't you change the situation for yourself? And if you did not if you did not and if you thought that you could not have changed it, then why did you live that much? Maybe you always have the option to escape life. This is what stoicism says, by the way. I read Gita and it's absolute bullshit. I just want a book for mankind and morality without any flaws in it, and which isn't ritualistic or holds a trace of superstition. As far as I know, Parul, I don't think it has like it vouches against the superstition. By the way, that's my reading of it. I don't know if you've read the first chapter where like I don't want to get into the specifics of this right now. I don't want to get into the specifics of it right now. But as far as my understanding goes, what I realized or what I saw is that it vouches against that superstition. That Arjun is superstitious. The whole point is that he's superstitious. He's asking these questions at the start because he is superstitious himself. He believes in rituals, and then in the rest of the chapters are the answer to that. This ritualistic thought that, oh, you should not do this, oh, this is what my elders said, this is what I've heard. The answers to that they are absolutely anti-ritualistic. Like they're literally vouching for going against these rituals and superstitions. Trust me, I'm not religious in any way. Like I'm very much of someone who questions everything. I'm someone who constantly reads different works, different philosophies, and I've always seen this over like lovely pattern in all the right kind of books. Like stoicism, I found really good answers from it. Nietzsche, I've really loved him. Gita, I would say I've loved it. Just because the book aligns with your ideology doesn't mean it has to mean shit to me too. I find the Gita to be bullshit, and I'm going to say that respectfully. That's not a reply. Yeah, I totally understand. I'm not vouching for it as a like an ultimatum. Okay, I'm not vouching for it as an ultimatum. I think that's what the whole philosophy, like literally, that's the main thing about philosophy, that you cannot force or like you can push your ideology into others. That's the whole reason why philosophy is so vast and it's so beautiful. There are so many philosophers, they have found different answers. So many people have found different things for themselves. So there are only two things that you can do. Either you can find your own idol, what most people do, because they fail to question things enough. They don't know how to do things properly, so they just fall into an idol. Or what you can do is that you can search for your heart. You can educate yourself. You can go for self knowledge. Keep asking questions. Keep raising awareness. बाय पापा के साथ बाजार जा रहा हूँ सब्जी लेने. समीर, why do I feel like you're trolling? There is absolutely no way. There is absolutely no way. आप इस टाइम पे बाजार लेने जा रहे हो सब्जी. समीर, are you? Wow, crazy. Gita manuscripts are open to interpretation. There are many multiple authoring versions in the market. I don't know what's the case for you. Bro, I've heard about Kama Sutra, that I was based on human desire and love and lust, generation culture. I already talked about. I haven't read about it, but I would. People, like guys, I have a really good recommendation for you. जितने भी लोग आपने lust के ऊपर जो भी बोला है मुझे, if you want, like if you feel troublesome about this, I would really urge you to watch this movie called Oh My God 2. I think it does a really good job of explaining these things. Watch Oh My God 2. Your opinion on main camp. I haven't read it. I haven't read it. And why do I feel like you're rage baiting me with these questions? if you're ever curious, you could read the Bible too. By the way, I have read the Bible too. I have read it. Not the entire Bible, but I have read certain parts of the Bible. I've read a lot of philosophical stuff, and I particularly look at religious things from a philosophy angle. I don't look at it like from a superstitious angle. That okay, this I want an ultimate answer. That's not how I look at it. I look at it as like I look at it to pick and choose. Whatever works for me, I'll pick, and whatever my heart says, I'll build it up. Like I want my own version of these things rather than them being like there being an ultimatum, but it should all come from a core, and my core is freedom and truth. I've always like loved this. I've been this curious person who always has had questions with things, and like I've always been someone who's been in search of answers, in search of knowledge, thirsty for knowledge, really. Parul, I'll give you a suggestion. There's this person called Acharya Prashant. I'd think that maybe you should give his interpretation or his lectures. It's entirely free on YouTube. You should give his lectures a look. That's what I've been recently doing myself, and I was the same kind, Parul. By the way, I used to think that reincarnation, karma, operating across lifetime, these were the things that Gita vouched for or what Hinduism vouched for. But I was surprised myself when I found that that is not what the case was. I was really damn surprised because until now, even after someone who's been so like someone who questions so much, someone who's so curious about learning philosophy, every single scripture, I was very surprised when I found that that is actually not something that the Gita vouches for, reincarnation. Maybe. But again, I'm still in my learning journey, so I can't give you a complete answer. And I feel like I'm never going to be out of my learning journey. I'm always going to be learning. And that's what I find so beautiful. Unfortunately, most people, they just get satisfied really quick. Their definition is that okay, I just need the simple problem. I need a sellotape, and once that sellotape is like stuck here, I just fix this thing, and okay, it's done. For me, that is ever like it doesn't go until I die. It doesn't go. I don't think it go. And like the only way I can answer it is by learning more. It's my like unquenchable thirst, and not just knowing. I have to also take action on it. Try Ashtavakra Geet. You can believe those things because they're part of your faith or align with your ideology, but faith doesn't automatically turn them an object. By the way, Parul, I don't know if you've said this to me, but by culture or by faith, I'm Muslim. If you don't know that, like that's what I'm born into. That's what I'm born into. That's what my definition of culture is. Culture is purely something that you're born into and not necessarily that you actively believe in. And that's what my culture is. Wow, this was not something I planned, honestly, guys. This live stream has turned into more of a philosophical slash uh, metaphysical conversation rather than more of a career based one, and I'm all for it. But anyways, yeah, this is probably we're coming very close to the end of it. Maybe 5 more minutes. I'm just gonna answer some questions now. Whatever questions that you might have for me, please ask it now, and I'm going to answer them. And I'm going to end the stream for today. Bro, see my question. Bro, I've seen your question. Like I just told you that I haven't read the main camp. And rational as possible, cherry picking the nicest interpretation, cooking up the best argument defend. I'd rather just stick to evidence, science, and basic human morality. You're very much free to do that, Parul. I think we all have our own journey, and I don't think that anyone else should like enforce something on someone else. What they can do is always have a conversation. Wow, 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 wow. My voice. I need water, guys. I'll get water and be right back. Bro, you have photo of Caesar. I don't think that's Caesar. I don't know what that is exactly, who that is as a person, but it's really dope. And I read about the Greek culture. I read about the Roman culture. I love to read history as well. So that's why I have that photo, and I really like. I'm interested in that, and it's fascinating. And I think I relate with that in some way. It's weird, but I like it. So that's why I have that photo. I don't know if it's Caesar or not. Maybe it is Caesar. Also, by the way, Caesar just means a title. In Roman times, Caesar was just a title that they gave to kings. See, I that's as far as my knowledge goes. Caesar isn't like, it does not mean that if Caesar is a one particular person. I know that the most popular of it that we have been exposed to as Indians in our literature is Julius Caesar. But Caesar, like after, I think after him, or maybe it was after him, that it became a title given to every Roman emperor. Everyone who was at the top in Roman, like Rome, they were given this title of Caesar. Freaking dope. I freaking love that. Maybe I should start talking about more history. Maybe I should go on rants, or maybe I should like learn more and then share it with you, have conversations with you guys. Maybe I should make videos based on that as well. Would love to do that eventually. I feel like I'm not even an atheist. I'm anti-theist. If you want to practice your faith, do it inside your freaking home or at your place of worship, not in the public spaces. We don't have that freedom in India, by the way. Parul, if you think we don't have that freedom in India, you'd be in very much. Yeah, I think India is among some of the places that in the last few years has become more and more conservative. I think I agree with you on that end. That maybe people are getting more dogmatic, where they're not open. They've like become so like this. The conversation with this has become so dangerous. I feel somewhat. Maybe I felt like it was better. I felt like it was better. Maybe we like, I think every country should be open in scientific temperament in like having conversations about these things. But I certainly know there are places in the world which are worse in this end. So I think that I would not exactly call that we are in the worst place, because I definitely know there are places which are probably worse off when it comes to question these things. I hope they are changing. I really hope that with Gen Z it changes. I hope we become more of like, we have this more questioning nature, where we are like not wasting our time on us versus them mentality, where people are just fighting. People are just like superstitious. Like I think we want to be more like, we want to have this more like humanness in ourselves. That okay, what in terms of our country, how can the public unite? How can all of us together become better? Why can't all of us become better? And if we need to become better, then what is it that we need to do in order to become better? We can look at the countries that are working, and we can become or set an example of being the largest country with the largest population actually becoming better. Look at towards the positive side of things. I wish Raman was here in this conversation. Like, he is one of the people like I usually see in streams. He's also like studying MA English or something, literature. I think you would have had things to share or say. If you watch this, Raman, do let me know. I know that you sometimes end up watching my streams after I stream them. So if you ever watch this stream, Raman, I want you to comment. I want you to have the comment on my stream even after it's streamed, even after it's done being live. Maybe I'm going to do more of it. Like maybe I'm going to do more of these kind of streams where we have conversations about these things, because I know people who watch this channel are not particularly just if they are even something like me, they would have like a historical interest, curiosities. They would love talking about philosophy. They would like talking about psychology and more of those things. Bye bye, Parul. Interesting conversation. I really loved the. I really loved what you had to say. I am glad that you had to say that. See your previous comment. I also want to be a historian, but my parents forced me to be a doctor. I try to explain, but they said I don't know nothing about world. One famous line: "तुमने दुनिया नहीं देखी." देखो, इसका आप क्या कर सकते हो ना, आप अपना जो भी आपका इंटरेस्ट ना उसके बारे में आप नॉलेज लेते रहो, एंड अगर आपको डॉक्टर बनने को भी बोल रहे हैं तो वो भी ट्राई करो अपने पेरेंट्स के हिसाब से. That's the best thing that you can do in this situation. Why to stick to your locality? Don't I belong to this nation, Ritvik? And why don't you freaking care about the citizens of this nation? Don't you want them to have a better life and mentality? Parul, see, I understand where you're coming from, but think about this for a second. Let's say, okay, let's say that figure out a magical solution, okay, not even magic. Okay, maybe let's say magical solution that I know would solve the problems of a lot of people. Okay, so what will actually like get that? How do I get that to more a lot of people? Where do you think I will start? I will start and I'll test it in the locality that I live in. I'll start it. I'll start and test it with people that I have around me, the people that I have access to, the people that I have known, or the people that in some way, like I don't know, that I can connect to them. If I get a magical solution for something, and if I'm like trying to reach people across the world, what do you think? Like, do you think that is more effective, or it's like I have to test it on people around me first, or I have to test it on people who are at least accessible to me in some way? I think that is what like that the philosophical point, or rather the point that I've been trying to instill in this live stream, that whatever solution that exists, first you have to implement it on yourself, then you have to implement it, or like you have to see it, or improve yourself in a way that you can actually affect your locality in some positive way. And once you do that, then you can move progressively. But if you're starting like from the starting, your main point is okay, I want to see like the whole country. I mean, I understand the sentiment that you're trying to express, that yeah, we as a country should improve, right? Definitely, yeah. But how do you think you'll start? If you want to bring change, you start from your home, you start from your room first. If you want to be clean, first you will start from your room. Only then you can even like take it to your home, and then you can take it to your neighborhood, and then you can take it to your building, and then you can take it slowly across your locality, and then you can take it from your country, right? But if your first sentiment or your first question is okay, the country, how do you think that yeah, maybe we can have these discourses, but unfortunately then all that will happen is that we'll have these discourses and there will be no solution eventually. We will be fighting. You say this to someone, the other person will say okay, but the state or the country, there's nothing wrong. Come on, come on, bro. I hope you get my point. If you're still here, that is. हेलो भैया, पहचाना, बिल्कुल पहचाना यार, रेड डॉट गेमिंग, बिल्कुल पहचाना यार. Man, I'm from Uttarakhand, and ever since Savan started, my state has been getting absolutely fricked by the crowds coming, and people legit turn into zombies, lose all sense of civic responsibility. और बताओ यार, रेड डॉट जी यार, क्या बताओ आपको, बस लाइव स्ट्रीम खत्म होने वाली यार, मैं अभी तक खत्म नहीं की बिकॉज आई एम हैविंग अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग दिस, ये टॉपिक चल रहा है अभी. And it's gotten so chaotic that even crossing paths with the so-called Kanwarias feel unsafe as hell. They're genuinely intimidating. Well, that's unfortunate, Parul. It's unfortunate that this has happened. Bye bye, Parul, for now. Go have your supper. मैं बीसी कॉलेज आ गया कानपुर CSJMU में. नाइस यार, नाइस नाइस नाइस. आई होप यू स्टार्ट. हाउ इज योर जर्नी गोइंग? क्या कर रहे हो यार? क्या हालचाल, कैसे एक्सपीरियंस है? हाय सामी. ओके बाय गाइस. यार ये क्या था? हाय ब्रो बोल के ओके बाय गाइस. यार यू गॉट बी ट्रोलिंग. हाय ब्रो, ओके बाय गाइस, हाय. क्या क्या है यार? I thought stream was ending. Yeah, stream is ending in a bit. Stream is ending. Like it is on the verge of ending. Definitely. हाय समीर, लेके आ गए सब्जी? यार आप लोगों से बात करना एक बार स्टार्ट करता हूँ मैं, पता है सोच कर आया था कि मैं आधे घंटे बात करूंगा. एंड देख लो यार क्या होगा, 1 घंटा 15 मिनट यार. यार आप लोग ना मुझे मुझे बहुत ये यार. पापा ने कहा तू जा, मैं खुद ले लूंगा यार. वाह यार, बड़ा बड़ा वो है यार. मजा आ गया. एनीवेज गाइस, बाय द वे यार, आप लोगों में से जितने लोग हैं, यू गाइस, इफ यू वांट एनी सॉर्ट ऑफ अ गाइडेंस, इफ यू वांट टू शेयर योर प्रॉब्लम्स विद मी इन रिगार्ड्स विद योर करियर, in regards with your life problems, anything that you have, I have this thing, if you guys aren't aware, जहाँ पे I can get on a one-on-one call with you. I will listen to all your problems, give you time, personalized time, and give you a personalized proper solution अपने experience के through. And for that you can look at the pinned chat that I have sent on here. Other than that, you can also check my YouTube bio, जहाँ पे there is another link that I have sent for a one-on-one, not sent, but I have pasted for a one-on-one call with me, for booking one-on-one call with me. All right, guys. So if you want guidance, if you want me to listen to your problems and then properly give you a solution or like give you clarity, then for that I would urge you, not urge, but if you really want to do that, if you think you found my content so far, or if you found me giving answers to you in live helpful, that I'm sure that you can get on a one-on-one call with me and then I can do it personalized for you. So yes, guys, that will be it today. I'm sorry I cannot answer all the questions. I understand Red Dot कि आपने भी question पूछा है मुझसे, but I cannot give you the answer right now because I'm going to end the stream. Other than that, I stream every day, and yeah, and you can refer to my content. I've like posted 400 videos, and all of those videos will at least teach you something about life or your career or in general. Okay. Yo there, do check your email, Murtaza. Have you sent me an email right now? I think I've already checked my email. Oh yeah. Yeah, I checked your email. I don't really need thumbnails, Suraya. I mean, I'm looking for more of an editor, by the way. Like, if someone can edit my videos, I have like tens of videos lying around. So I need someone who can edit videos for me. So if there's someone who can do that, I would love that. And I don't even want high quality edits, jahan pe, matlab, you're like, they're like hundreds of effects. It's more like a very simplistic thing. If someone wants that, like, please contact me and then I will have a talk with you and then we can decide. Oh, do read the Gmail completely. Okay, you can do that as well. Okay, I'll be reading that after this. लेकिन मुझे लगता है आपको थोड़ा और एडिटिंग, वीडियो में हुक और थंबनेल में और ध्यान देना चाहिए. मेरा थंबनेल यार, थंबनेल आई डोंट लाइक, आई सी द एनालिटिक्स एंड मेरा थंबनेल का कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है जितना मुझे पता है. द प्रॉब्लम इट डिपेंड्स ऑन द कंटेंट थोड़ा, एंड उसके ज्यादा आई थिंक इट हैज टू डू विद एडिटिंग. उसके अलावा मुझे नहीं फील होता राइट नाउ दैट आई नीड थंबनेल्स, एंड दैट इज नॉट व्हाट आई एम फोकसिंग ऑन. सो दैट्स व्हाई आई डोंट नीड द थंबनेल. ऑफ कोर्स आई अंडरस्टैंड कि ये सारी चीजों पे आइडियली ध्यान देना पड़ेगा लॉन्ग टर्म डाउन द लाइन, लेकिन कंसिडरिंग मेरी पोजीशन राइट नाउ, आई थिंक एडिटिंग इज माय फोकस. Editing and of course like माय कंटेंट क्वालिटी एज वेल, कि कितना मैं सीख रहा हूँ, मैं कितना बेटर वो दे पा रहा हूँ यहाँ पे। कौन सा बैटल? कलर ग्रेडिंग एट से। नार्सिसिस्ट क्या होता है यार? आप गूगल सर्च कर लो यार, आप एआई को क्वेश्चन पूछ लो यार मुझसे। आई अंडरस्टैंड, मजाक कर रहा हूँ यार समीर जी। आपके क्वेश्चन को मैं कैसे ठुकरा सकता हूँ? Okay, Suraya, I just read your email, and sure, let's talk. Let's talk. कौन सा स्लीपिंग? कौन सा बैटल, कौन सा स्लीपिंग? यार देखो, मैंने इस स्ट्रीम में ऑलरेडी बात कर दी है टॉपिक के ऊपर, एंड राइट नाउ आई हैव टू गो गाइस। थैंक यू फॉर कमिंग टू द स्ट्रीम। इट वाज एन अमेजिंग अमेजिंग स्ट्रीम। मजा आ गया यार आप लोगों से बात करके। कल मिलेंगे यार बाकी। बाय बाय गाइस।